This is the 2023 first quarter online investor conference of Oneness Biotech Company Limited. We are very pleased to be joined online by the distinguished guests and the investors in this virtual investor conference. First of all, I would like to introduce to you the management team: General Manager Chi-Hui Cheng, Vice President of the Antibody Development Nian Chen, Vice President of Small Molecule Development Nina Wang, Director of Medical Science Department Ji-Ching Chen, Senior Manager of the Finance Department Amy Siyao. First of all, I would like to invite General Manager Chi-Hui Cheng to give a brief speech.
Shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today is the first investor conference of Oneness Biotech in 2023, and the management team will report to the shareholders the progress of the research and development of Oneness new drugs, as well as the important topics that shareholders concerned about, hoping to let shareholders understand Oneness better. R&D has made significant progress in this quarter. First, Fespixin has been approved by Singapore Health Sciences Authority after the strict scientific and regulatory review and, which is a big step towards the ASEAN market of 600 million population. Second, Bonvadis medical device has granted the market approvals in India and New Zealand. India has a population of 1.4 billion and up to 10 million diabetic foot ulcer patients. Major pharmaceutical companies will not miss the opportunity of cooperation with Bonvadis medical device easily. Third, ON101 China NDA progress that people care the most. Because this is a completely innovative drug, the review and communication process is relatively complicated. We are looking at the current review stage positively. Facing the 7.5 million DFU patients in mainland China and 1.42 million amputations due to DFU every year, ON101 should be a urgently needed new drug in mainland China. Fourth, although it took 3 months to grant the QMS certificate and export license, it did not affect the first batch of Bonvadis export, and finally made the first step in Oneness medical device export. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the international market entry will continue to drive the global revenue of Oneness new drugs, and also provide very favorable conditions for international cooperation and licensing negotiations. This year, Oneness will continue to publish the clinical data in various indications and innovative mechanism of action of Fespixin in international journals, and actively participate in the international medical conferences, providing more strong scientific evidence for Fespixin global marketing. The clinical trials of Oneness other new drugs, it got out of COVID impact this year and accelerate the subject enrollment by adding study sites actively, including ON101 Phase 3 trial, OB318 anti-cancer new drug Phase 1 trial, FB825 moderate to severe allergic asthma 2A trial, SNS812 nucleic acid COVID new drug Phase 1 trial, etc., as well as a number of ongoing exploratory human trials. The R&D team will then report the progress for you one by one as transparently as possible, but in order to ensure the quality and risk control of important clinical trials, the specific subject enrollment timeline will no longer be disclosed to the public. R&D is supported by out-licensing business strategy is the core strategy of Oneness new drug research and development. The COVID impact in the past 2 years not only affected clinical trial enrollments and international negotiations and communication, but also delayed many plans. Now it is back to the right track. This year will be a key period for Oneness to accelerate internationalization. In addition to strong new drug innovation strength, the international cooperation and sales marketing of Oneness approved new drug and medical device will constitute a dual strength of Oneness R&D and sales, specifically realize business strategy, and create greater value for shareholders. Thank you. Thank you. This is the disclaimer of this investor conference. Please refer to it.
Next, the research and development progress will be reported by Ji-Ching Chen, Director of Medical Science Department.
The R&D report section, as of March 31, 2023. The first is the report of wound healing new drug and medical device, including Fespixin global market entry, Bonvadis global market entry, licensing and distribution collaboration, global patent, Fespixin Taiwan NHI application, Fespixin collaboration with academic and research institutes, and international conferences and publication. There are 3 strategies for market entry as new drug of Fespixin. First, the sales and NIH reimbursement application in Taiwan is carried out by Oneness. Oneness aims to collect the feedback from patients and doctors in the self-paid and the reimbursed market as well as to analyze the real-world efficacy. This provides a basis and reference for Faspixin in global market entry. Second, utilizing the NDA approvals in Taiwan and in Singapore can help facilitate the regulatory review in other countries for an earlier market access. Third, the pharmacoeconomics analysis is conducted based on Phase 3 clinical trial results, post-market data adapted with local requirements and economic settings to obtain health technology assessment, in order to accelerate the entry into the reimbursement market in different countries. Regarding ON101 NDA progress in China, Chinese guideline on prevention and management of diabetic foot reveals that due to the lack of effective drug, the total amputation rate of diabetic foot ulcers in China reached 19.03%, including major amputations and minor amputations, with 1.42 million patients having their limbs amputated due to DFU annually. DFU patients have a mortality rate up to 50% within 5 years after amputation, according to the article published in January 2023 by Professor Ran. DFU is a life-threatening disease with no effective treatment. ON101 is in compliance with regulatory science and shows significant clinical outcome in treatment of DFUs. The early use of ON101 in China may reduce up to millions of amputations per year. ON101 is the first botanical new drug for DFU and already approved in Taiwan and Singapore, and is under regulatory reviews in major diabetes markets. The NDA in China is currently paused to enable communication on review requirements for completing the review process. Regarding ON101 progress in United States market, in alignment with the communication with FDA in 2022 for the second Phase 3 study, part of study design and the execution had been adjusted. Currently, the evaluation of new study sites has been completed. The carcinogenicity waiver request was submitted to the FDA, and each of NDA required documents are under preparation. The early market access in United States will be under medical device to fulfill specific market need. NDA will be filed in 2026 after completing second Phase 3 study. As for ON101 new drug global market entry, NDA are submitted in Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam and Philippines. Receipt of Singapore new drug approval was in January and receipt of information requests from Malaysia NPRA was in February. Response will be made within the requested timeline. Vietnam DAV accepted NDA application last July. Philippines PFDA accepted NDA application last April. As of now, there is not any information request from these two countries. In 2023 February, we informed NPRA, DAV and PFDA the update that Faspixin was approved by Singapore HSA. In addition, Indonesia, Thailand, South Korea, GCC 7 countries are in pre-submission status. Sample tests in Indonesia completed and conformed requirements in February this year. Manufacturing plant has been listed on system in March. Administrative review application will be made in April. The submission partner in Thailand will be determined in June based on the product classification and evaluation. NDA will then be submitted accordingly. MFDS in South Korea agreed on bridging study waiver. NDA will be submitted after the dossier is revised according to the additional requirement on botanical new drug. Lastly, product classification in GCC 7 countries was obtained in January this year and ON101 is herbal drug. GCC is updating the centralized review guidelines. NDA will be submitted after the dossier is revised according to the additional requirement on herbal drug. Following is the report of Bonvadis medical device market strategy. There are 3 major strategies in market entry. First, the United States submission to expand intended use of chronic wound via 510(k) regulatory route has been planned for 2023 H2. Second, the registration of intended purpose of chronic wound via Europe MDR regulatory route has been planned for 2023 H2. Third, regulatory compliance for market access focus on early entry into advanced countries or supply to meet demand in pricing competitive markets. Regarding Bonvadis medical device global market entry, The first is Bonvadis topical cream for wound management. It was approved in the United States last August and is approved in India in February, then approved in New Zealand in March this year. In the meantime, QMS certificate is granted by TFDA with the export license. Bonvadis has been exported to United States. The second one is Bonvadis cream for scar management. Documentation reviewed was completed by Europe authorized representative in March. Registration to competent authority will be completed in 30 days. In the second part of Bonvadis medical device global market entry, it is planned the registration submissions for Pakistan and South Africa in 2023 Q2. And designation of classification for Bangladesh, Egypt, Iran, Nigeria, Sudan, and Russia is to be completed by 2023 Q2. Submission strategies will be determined accordingly. Submission is planned in the second half of the year for Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina. Next is the report of licensing and collaboration that everyone cares about. Oneness adopts a dual regulatory strategy by Fespixin and Bonvadis to accelerate global market entry for licensing or collaboration. Due to DFU treatment demand is huge and there is not any effective drug or medical device, all wound care companies are looking for an effective product globally. The clinical efficacy of Fespixin has no competitors in the world. The study results, including clinical data and mode of action, have been published in several international renowned journals. Oneness adopts the strategy of regional licensing or distribution collaboration. Market entry is prioritized for countries with high diabetes population. The negotiations with local big pharmaceutical companies is ongoing in parallel for the most reasonable terms and conditions of collaboration based on the best interests of shareholders. In the North American market, Oneness collaboration negotiations are based on strategies with early participation in the second phase 3 study and early market entry of medical device. The medical devices have been exported to the United States this week and will be provided to partners for real-world efficacy evaluation. In addition, China market will also wait for the final NDA review results, and Microbio Shanghai will be responsible for licensing and collaboration. Medical device strategy in India meets the expectation from the market. Based on the business discussion with local big pharmaceutical companies, it is expected more than 10 million DFU patients demand, which is the main quantitative market for Bonvadis global sales. Lastly, in Southeast Asia, Singapore is regulatory indicator in ASEAN countries. Fespixin is planned to launch in 2023 H2. Licensing negotiation will be made along with the market entry in other ASEAN countries. In response to the global launch of new drugs and medical device, we will continue to complete the global patent protection. As shown in the slide here, patents for pharmaceutical compositions, patents for treating acute and chronic wound indications, patents for anti-arthritis indications, etc., have been approved. In addition, patent for formulation has been submitted since 2016. It has been approved by many countries so far, which can avoid generics competition. In addition, since 2021, it has successively filed patents for manufacturing process, new indications for alleviating a radiation-induced skin disorder, inhibiting immune response, and scar management. Granted patents are valid until 2038, and we will continue to file new patents to expand patent to achieve the maximum intellectual property protection. Next is the progress of Fespixin Taiwan NHI reimbursement application. In December 2021, Fespixin has been filed for NHI reimbursement application based on Category 1, breakthrough new drug with high clinical value, and first launched globally. In January this year, the pharmacoeconomic study of Fespixin was published by JAMA Network Open. The results show that compared with standard care, it has a breakthrough effect with cost-effectiveness and can be cost-saving in patients with hard-to-heal risk factors, including poor control of blood sugar, HbA1c level higher than 9%, ulcer duration longer than 6 months, and smokers. It is recommended to be one of the standard care in NHI. Taiwan New Drug Pricing Consultation meeting with NHIA has been held in March 2023, and NHIA's response is awaited. In terms of collaboration with academic and research institutes, we initiated extramural program on Fespixin to encourage the medical, industrial, academic and the research institutes to participate in Fespixin academic or clinical researches, so as to add value to Fespixin. The current program includes VLU, SCARS, biofilm, pressure injury, DFU-MOA. The following table provides program details of collaboration with academic and research institutes. First, in the venous leg ulcers, Oneness collaborated with the plastic surgeons of Taipei Veterans General Hospital and Shuangho Hospital to evaluate the safety and potential efficacy of ON101 cream for the treatment of venous leg ulcers. In addition, we also collaborated with the NT doctors of Tri-Service General Hospital to explore the short and mid-term effects of eflaspixin in scar cosmesis following the cervical or abdominal surgery. This clinical study has progressed smoothly and completed in December last year with statistical significance. Based on the results of this clinical trial, we utilized the translational approach to investigate the efficacy and mechanism of ON101 cream and their active compounds in preventing hypertrophic scar with the research team of Shuangho Hospital. Besides, it can be seen clinically that most wounds are accompanied with different degrees of infection, and we also collaborated with National Taiwan University Hospital to explore the therapeutic effect of eflaspixin on the wound biofilm infection in a DB diabetic animal model. Furthermore, it also collaborated with Wanfeng Hospital and Kaohsiung Medical University to evaluate the efficacy and safety of eflaspixin cream for the treatment of pressure injury in sacrum and greater trochanter wound, where the most common pressure injury places occur clinically. Current progress is in line with expectations. Last, for diabetic foot ulcer indications, we also collaborated with Cathay General Hospital and China Medical University respectively to evaluate the safety and efficacy of eflaspixin cream for the treatment of Texas 1A, 2A, DFU in dialysis patients, and Texas 3A and 3B diabetic foot ulcers with infection. The pictures are the results of an exploratory clinical trial of SCARS in Tri-Service General Hospital. The clinical trial enrolled a total of 46 patients, including head and neck surgery and abdominal surgery. We can see that the suturing wound after surgery is directly applied with ointment. As shown in the photo, the upper case is a patient undergoing thyroidectomy and the lower case is a patient with surgical removal of the mandibular gland. Right side of the suturing wound is placebo administration, and left side is on eflaspixin. We administered symmetrically, twice a day in the morning and evening, for 12 weeks to assess the efficacy of the product for scar improvement. For the results of the clinical trial, physicians and 3 blinded evaluators were asked to score using the Vancouver Scar Scale, which is recognized as the most credible scale for scar assessment worldwide. The results showed that eflaspixin had specific improvements in vascularity, pigmentation, pliability, and height, and reached statistical significance, p less than 0.05. In 2023, Oneness actively participated in international medical conferences in accordance with global market entry strategy of eflaspixin and Bonvadis. In January and February this year, the Summit on Management of DFU in Taiwan, Singapore and Malaysia were held successfully. We invited KOL from the 3 countries to exchange their experience in local DFU treatment, including the successful treatment experience of eflaspixin after product launch in Taiwan. On March 11, a case report of eflaspixin was shared in the Innovative Research in Wound Care conference held by Taiwan Society for Wound Care. In this report, eflaspixin promotes wound-completed healing by self-use at home on the patient with PAD, necrotizing fasciitis, and failed bi-cell therapy. In Q2, we will participate in several renowned international medical conferences, including European Wound Management Association in Milan in May and American Diabetes Association in American San Diego in June. At the same time, David Armstrong, a well-known international DFU key opinion leader, was invited to be the speaker in the 9th International Symposium on the Diabetic Foot in The Hague, Netherlands from May 10 to 13, giving a symposium on the value of macrophage regulation in treatment of diabetic foot ulcers. The active participation of these academic activities is aimed at connection with medical society and healthcare professional, and to let them understand the real-world efficacy of eflaspixin. Last, in terms of the publications in 2023, the pharmacoeconomic study from Taiwan Healthcare Perspective was published in the SCI journal, JAMA Network Open, published by American Medical Association, with an impact factor of 13.366. The publication of this journal has been peer-reviewed in advanced And it is affirmed Faspixin is a breakthrough treatment and has cost-effectiveness for DFU. In addition, the clinical study of Faspixin promotes the postoperative scar maturation and remodeling was also published in ASJ, the top 16% journals in the field of plastic and aesthetic medicine, with an impact factor of 4.485, which can be evidence-based clinical results for physicians' reference. The next part of other new drug research and development will be reported by Niani Chen, Vice President of the Antibody Development.
Okay, I'm going to report on the other 4 new drug developments. The first is FB825 anti-Sem-X antibody new drug in development of atopic dermatitis and allergic asthma. The second is FB704A anti-IL-6 antibody new drug in development of severe asthma and cardiovascular disease caused by chronic kidney disease. The third is OB318 small molecule anti-cancer new drug. The fourth is SNS812 small oligonucleotide new drug in development of pan-COVID flu. First, I will report the research and development progress of FB825 on moderate to severe atopic dermatitis. FB825 used to be given intravenously, and patients had to be in the injection room for an hour infusion. The development of subcutaneous injection formulation can greatly improve patient compliance and reduce the time of administration. It only takes patients a few seconds, like injection of COVID vaccine. A bridging study of subcutaneous and intravenous formulation is ongoing to compare the parameters of pharmacokinetic change between 2 formulations. Currently, FB825 subcutaneous and intravenous formulation study drugs filling have been completed by CMO in the United States. Patient screening for the bridging study is planned in 2023 Q2 and PK study will be conducted as planned. The results of the PK bridging study will be referenced to design the following Phase 2b trial with SC formulation. Regarding the other development of FB825 for moderate to severe atopic dermatitis, we began expansion to more patient population, especially in children and adolescents. The global prevalence of atopic dermatitis is up to 20% in children and adolescents and 3% in adults. In patients with moderate to severe atopic dermatitis, long-time steroid use is necessary, but there are safety concerns for long-term use of steroids in children and adolescents. Moreover, the approved medication, Dupixent, also has some side effect concerns that makes FB825 a safer and more effective drug to be looked forward to. Based on the safety data of primate toxicology study and clinical studies in adult AD, FDA has greenlighted that adolescents aged 12 to 17 can be enrolled in subsequent trials of FB825, which is the first step for FB825 to patient population of children and adolescents. The biomarker study in childhood and adolescent patients in Taiwan has been initiated in March 2023. The goal is to collect blood samples from 30 atopic dermatitis subjects aged 6 to 17 to investigate their IgEB cell profile, confirming the applicable population for FB825. We also continue to explore the new mechanism of action of FB825. According to the exploratory trial of moderate to severe atopic dermatitis, the number of targeted IgEB cells were reduced by FB825 treatment. The key disease index EASI score also showed a significant decrease within 1 month, confirming the pharmacological effect of FB825. FB825 is currently the only immunological new drug in the world that inhibits IgEB cells and is under development. Therefore, we anticipate inhibition of IgEB cells may contribute to other mechanisms of action. Transgenic mice with disease model is being used to study the interaction between IgEB cells and other immune cells, including T cells, to explore further mechanisms and increase the value of FB825. In FB825 development of moderate to severe allergic asthma, the Pulmonary Function Testing Service and medical visit in Department of Thoracic Medicine have been seriously affected during the past pandemic. Following the eased pandemic, the Pulmonary Function Testing Service in the hospitals participating in our clinical trials have been resumed to normal, which has helped us to carry out the trial according to plan. As of 2023 Q1, there are 16 participating sites for enrollment. The IgEB cell measurement technology for allergic asthma patients was optimized in parallel to more precisely analyze the effect of FB825 on IgEB cells in allergic asthma patients. Then I will report the development of FB704A. FB704A we target at patients with severe asthma, especially in high neutrophils. In-house sputum analysis capabilities has been built by our R&D team to provide stable and standardized analytical techniques which are key to enrollment procedures. This can expedite the execution of Phase 2, a clinical trial. Neutrophils counts in sputum are an important parameter for the differential diagnosis of neutrophilic asthma, but not usually seen in routine tests in most hospitals. This can expedite patient enrollment by establishing the sputum analytical technique in clinical study sites through the assistance of core laboratory. On the left of the slide is a simple example of our sputum analysis. The picture above shows a patient with high neutrophils. After his sputum is collected, we stain it, and N marks the neutrophils. Patients in this group can be found high neutrophils in sputum. The picture below is vice versa. Patients in this group have low neutrophils in sputum. At the same time, we can observe the morphology of the neutrophils to speculate whether the neutrophils of this patient are active or resting, which is used to speculate whether this patient is suitable for FB704A. The establishment of sputum analytical technique can greatly speed up patient enrollment in our study. In addition, in the exploratory biomarker trial, we collected asthmatic sputum and blood samples for hematology and cytokine analysis. This can be further expanded to explore the applicable population for FB704A. Because most current biologics are targeting at non-smoking populations, our exploratory biomarker trial covers a wide range of asthmatic populations, including smokers, people just quit smoking, and people exposed to air pollution, which will help us continue to expand applicable population for FB704A. Meanwhile, investigator-initiated study has been approved by TFDA in the first quarter of this year. The trial will follow the exploratory biomarker trial to confirm the expansion of potential population for FB704A. In international research, more and more research on the etiology of neutrophilic asthma has been published and are getting more and more attention. On the left of the slide, it is the data from Japan showed multiple causes of neutrophilic asthma, including microorganisms, smoking, air pollution, viruses, and various allergens. In this complex signaling pathway, you can see that IL-6 plays a key role. At the same time, in addition to these allergic factors, obesity also causes asthma through IL-6. So we are more confident that IL-6 plays an important role in neutrophilic asthma through those scientific data support. On the right picture, it is our biomarker preliminary data. After we have analyzed the sputum of patients with severe asthma we have collected, it showed 50% of patients with sputum neutrophil counts more than 50%. Those patients are eligible for inclusion in FB704A treatment, and this group of patients exists and is the majority. The second indication of FB704A we have targeted is to reduce CVD risk in CKD patients, which has been also discussed gradually in recent years. A large international study concluded that the concentration of IL-6 is highly correlated with the risk of cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease. The left on the slide is a list of 4 major factors of cardiovascular disease. In patients with chronic kidney disease, you can see the 1-year probability of cardiovascular disease versus IL-6 concentration. It can be seen that the major cardiovascular event, all-cause mortality, cardiovascular death, and myocardial infarction are all related to IL-6 concentration. The different colored lines in the figure represent different degrees of chronic kidney disease. The orange part is the most severe, patients with very low GFR. The gray part is those with milder kidney disease. From this figure, you can see the more serious the chronic kidney disease, the higher probability of cardiovascular disease, and with the relatively high concentration of IL-6. This study let us know cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease is closely related to IL-6 level. According to statistics, 50% of chronic kidney disease patients will be complicated by cardiovascular disease. Inhibition of IL-6 by FB704A has the potential to reduce the CVD risk in CKD patients. Our R&D team verified the mechanism of action in mouse model at the same time. We analyzed neutrophils, haptoglobin, fibrinogen, serum amyloid A. Those are factors highly correlated with cardiovascular disease risk. FB704A has been shown dose-dependently inhibiting CVD risk factors in mouse model. In the figures below, for different risk factors can be seen greatly increased in mouse model, and after different concentrations of FB704A were given, these factors were effectively inhibited. Those data support us to continue exploring the indication of reducing CVD risk in CKD patients. In terms of the progress of clinical trials, the exploratory clinical trial protocol for the indication of reducing CVD risk in CKD patients was submitted to TFDA in December last year and received TFDA review comments in February this year. Protocol was successfully approved by TFDA in March. The exploratory trial of 24 subjects will be initiated in the second quarter of this year. The next is the development of OB318 small molecule anti-cancer new drug. OB318 is a fermented extract of Entrodia cinnamomea that used to be a mixture. The synthesis of active ingredient had been developed successfully by R&D team, which allows us control the manufacturing technology wholly. At the same time, the expansion of patent has been continued. Regarding the clinical trial, the phase I study of OB318 is to confirm the tolerability, PK, and preliminary efficacy in cancer patients who are difficult to treat and do not respond to current treatments. Treatment phase of cohort 1 to 4 had been completed and the results also passed the Safety Review Committee. Recruitment of the subsequent cohort is ongoing. The last is an oligonucleotide new drug, SNS812, and development of a novel pancoronavirus therapeutics. SNS812 still maintains 99.8% coverage of the SARS-CoV-2 variants. The currently known mutant strains are all effectively covered by SNS812. Regarding the progress of clinical trials, Phase I clinical trial progress in the United States has completed 3 groups of single-dose and 2 groups of multi-doses administration as scheduled. In all dose tests, SNS812 has shown excellent safety, and no drug-related adverse effect have been found. It is scheduled to be completed of last patient last visit in 2023 Q1. Clinical research report of Phase I trial will be obtained in 2023 Q2, and Phase II a clinical trial, IND, will be submitted to verify the efficacy and safety of SNS812. Phase II a clinical trial is scheduled to start in Q3 this year. Recently, everyone is asking, will COVID drug lose its development value after coronavirus transition from pandemic to endemic? In fact, from the historical data of influenza, we believe that coronavirus endemic has the potential to become a long-term and stable market for coronavirus drugs. This is a comparison table by referring to influenza and coronavirus-related literatures. According to WHO statistics, 9.3 million to 45 million people had infected by influenza per year between 2010 and 2020, hospitalization rate of 4.4%, and about $8 to $3 billion in annual sales of therapeutic drugs. And the variants after Omicron, its infection value, that is, how many people a patient can infect, is between 8 and 15, which is much higher than the infection value of influenza between 1 to 2.7 people. Only in 2022, coronavirus caused 370 million infections and the hospitalization mortality rate of 7%, which is also much higher than that of influenza. International analysts released a forecast in February this year that the market size of coronavirus drugs will reach $16.2 billion by 2031. According to our chart below, the annual outbreaks of influenza, it can be seen that the coronavirus after transition to endemic will also reoccur in a similar cycle, and the scale will be larger than that of influenza. We believe that excellent safety and wide efficacy of SNS-812 will surely get a position in the coronavirus treatment market. Oneness has always attached great importance to corporate responsibility and sustainable development. Regarding ESG performance, Oneness Biotech was invited to participate in the S&P Corporate Sustainability Assessment and ranked top 3% among the 332 pharmaceutical companies worldwide. The company is the only one Taiwanese company that has been included in the Sustainability Yearbook 2023. And because of the greatest improvement in sustainable performance, we were selected as the industry mover from globally pharmaceutical industry. In addition, regarding long-term promotion of gender-friendly workplaces, Oneness has been included in the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index for 2 consecutive years, which is the only biotech and pharmaceutical company in Taiwan to receive this honor. Finally, here is a reminder of investment risk. Oneness new drugs are global innovation, as high degree of innovation comes with a high degree of risk. Any development projects or clinical trials are under risk of failure, and Oneness has done the optimal risk management, but the investors shall have the risk awareness. It takes time to establish distribution channel, enter reimbursement system, and build prescribing habits after the drug is successfully launched. Oneness has talents, capitals, technology, and innovation. The new drug pipeline covers various stages. Profitability will begin after the company reaches the turning point where the licensed drug achieves the milestone, the launched drug enters into major markets, and the rest of the pipeline continue to be out-licensed. Above is our report. Thank you.
Thank you very much for participating in the investor conference. Due to time limit, today's online meeting is about to end. The investor's question that has not been answered, we will put it on the official website of Oneness Investor Q&A before tomorrow opening quotation. Please refer to it. Since January this year, there have been many good news of marketing authorization, fully demonstrating the efforts of the Oneness team and the practice of global market strategy, wishing Oneness to move forward and gain more this year. The next online investor conference is scheduled in late June. I wish you all a successful investment. Thank you.